Okay, Mrs. Self-Proclaimed, GWOAT, we have one question for you. Do you really think you can beat the 24-0 Laila Ali?
Boy, you know damn well I beat Grandma. Stop playing with my name like that, Stephen A.
This is how the Laila Ali versus Claressa Shields fight would go. The name of this story is called Sassy, Savage, and Southpaw. The world didn't demand the fight, but it did keep asking if it would ever go down. The latest questioning started on a Wednesday morning, one of those slow sports news days where reporters dig for anything worth clicking. Claressa Shields was sitting in a studio in Los Angeles. Thick legs crossed, chin high, icy confidence pouring off her like sweat before her way in. Cameras rolled, lights burned. The interviewer, a labeled culture vulture named Vlad, smiled like he already knew he was about to get a viral moment. "Claressa," he said, leaning in, "you beaten everybody they put in front of you. You're the self-proclaimed GWOAT, greatest woman of all time. But some fans say there's one name you never face." The chocolate goddess smirked. "Oh, I know the name." Vlad, off camera, adjusted in his seat and said, "Before I ask you to tell me who that is, I want to ask, have you ever committed any crimes? And if so, would you care to describe how you got away with them in clear detail?" Claressa laughed, remembering what her man told her about Vlad, and that a lot of people said he is an undercover federal agent out to trick his interviewees into incriminating themselves. She revealed that she was a law-abiding citizen and bellowed out Laila Ali's name next, shrugging casually, bored, like she was talking about a past-due bill instead of boxing royalty. Vlad breathed in. "So, you ain't never even beat a girl up in a club before?" Claressa leaned forward. "No, Vlad, but if I did, you'd be the last person to know, and for the record, if I ever fight Laila, I'd whoop her old ass." There was no hesitation, no smile, no joke, just a clean, cold statement, the type that doesn't end discussions but lights them on fire. Within minutes, the clip hit social media. 10 minutes, 12 minutes after that, it hit every sports site in North America. Within an hour, it hit Laila Ali's Instagram inbox. Laila was at home in Scottsdale, Arizona, sunlight spilling through wide windows, her championship belts glinting behind glass on the far wall, almost 50 years old, flawless skin, posture still straight like a ruler. Retirement has softened her schedule, but not her ego. She still woke early, still trained lightly, still watched fighters like a general studying future wars. She wasn't looking for trouble, but trouble came looking for her. Her iPhone, the latest one, buzzed, then buzzed again, then again. The screen lit up with text, missed calls, notifications blowing up like fireworks. "Have you seen this? You gonna let her talk like that?" Laila frowned, grabbed the remote, and flipped on the TV. It took less than 60 seconds before every sports channel was replaying the clip. Claressa Shields, calm, confident, unbothered. "I'd beat her easily. She a grandma now." Laila's jaws flexed. She wasn't a woman who raised her voice. She didn't need to. Years in the ring had taught her something deeper, that silence can hit harder than sound. She stood, crossed the room, and stared at her reflection in the glass of her trophy case. Behind the reflection, 10 belts shimmered, undefeated, 24-0, the daughter of the greatest heavyweight in history, a legacy untouchable. But in that moment, she didn't feel untouchable. She felt challenged, and Ali blood didn't run from challenges. Her phone rang. Her longtime friend and former manager, Derek, didn't even say hello. "Don't do it," Laila smirked. "Who said I was?" "I know that tone," he said. "That's the same tone you had before you took that fight in Vegas after everyone told you to chill. I won that damn fight, though. You broke your opponent's ribs, though." "She kept talking shit, Derek," Laila said simply. There was a pause on the line. Derek lowered his voice. "Look, kiddo, you're 50 now. You have to take that into consideration." Laila didn't blink. "Did you not come over and watch the Tyson-Jake Paul fight with me last year? Tyson was almost 60. Yeah, but that fight was rigged and Tyson is a different animal. This Shields girl is 33 and in her prime, Laila, fast, sharp, hungry." Laila stared at the TV again. The clip was looping. Claressa's voice echoed through the room. She talking about she'd easily beat me and I'm gonna make her eat those fucking words. Laila whispered to herself, barely audible. By nightfall, the video had 42 million views. By morning, the debate was global. Sports anchors split into teams, Team Ali versus Team Shields. Podcasts screamed into microphones. Old fighters weighed in. Young fighters tweeted nonsense. Memes multiplied like cockroaches living inside of a project's apartment kitchen wall. Someone posted a picture of a rocking chair with Laila's name on it. Someone else called Claressa the new Ali. The internet was cruel and loud, but one debate overshadowed all the rest. Age was a big factor. 17 years BR, almost 2 decades. One fighter climbing. One fighter retired. The headlines were merciless. Too old to fight. Age versus prime. Is Laila delusional? Even fans who loved her flinched at the idea, but there was one thing nobody knew. Laila Ali didn't see age as a weakness. She saw it as fuel. 3 days later, Laila stepped into a studio of her own. I don't think she beat me because that girl just ain't built like that. I'm gonna be a rude awakening for her. Gasps rippled across the room. She continued, and if she wants to find out, I'm right here. Another reporter shot up. Are you saying you'd fight her? Laila tilted her head. I'm saying I'm not afraid of anyone. Not at 33, not at 50, not ever. Flashing lights exploded, reporters shouted, the world tilted, because that was the moment, right there, not when Claressa talked, but when Laila answered that the fight was born, not signed, not scheduled, not official, but real. A storm forming, a fuse lit, a collision waiting. 2 women, 2 eras, 2 legacies, and only one could be GWOAT. The noise didn't die down. It escalated. By the end of the week, every talk show, sports broadcast, and gossip site had the same headline plastered across their feeds. Ali responds. Shields fires back. I's the super fight real? And Claressa? Oh, she wasn't staying quiet. She hopped on Instagram Live, hair slick, hoodie up, shadow boxing in front of the camera like she was already warming up for the bout. Listen, she said, breathing steady between punches. I respect Laila. She's a legend, but legends get passed. You can't hold the throne forever. She stopped punching, stared straight into the lens. And if she wants smoke, I'm the whole wildfire. She talking heavy. Run IT. Ali ain't ready. A fan type, she's old enough to be your mama, so show some respect, Claressa smirked. And I'll still beat her like she grounded me. The clip went nuclear. Even Laila saw it. She clenched her jaws again. The next morning, Laila was in her backyard gym, sleek, private, filled with everything from speed bags to rowing machines. She wrapped her hands, slow and methodical, watching a highlight reel of Claressa on the wall screen. Quick footwork, sniper jab, relentless pressure.
Oh, you want to call yourself the GWOAT? That's fine. It's flattering. You look up to my father. We both thought that was cute. That was sweet. You know, first of all, she could never beat me. Okay. Let me just get that really straight right now.
You want to get that straight, Laila?
Let's get that straight right now.
If you go on BoxRec and look at my caliber of opponents and look at her caliber of opponents, you will see why she's 24-0 with maybe 23 knockouts. You will be able to see why. Because she fought against soccer moms and probably strippers or something. I'm fighting real fighters. Real fighters, like, I'm matched tough.
And not simply because she's not strong enough, okay, because I would definitely knock her out. But because she's not talented enough to beat me.
Let's just keep it honest. Don't say that I'm not talented, because I'm the most talented female fighter there has been in the history of boxing. Let's not say that I'm not a good fighter, because my skills are far more superb than hers.
Shields was no joke, but Laila wasn't made of glass. Her trainer, longtime friend and boxing vet Marvin Cole leaned against the ropes, arms crossed. 60 years old, bald, thick forearms, voice like gravel. He'd been with Laila through most of her career. He knew her ways, when she was calm, when she was bluffing, when she was pissed. Right now, she was simmering. You know, Marvin said, chewing on a toothpick, watching her don't make you younger. Laila didn't stop punching the heavy bag. Good thing I never needed Young to win. That's cute, he said, but she's active. Sharp, you ain't fought in. Dawn, say the number. 18, almost 19 years ago. Laila hit the bag harder. Thud. She called me out. You know I don't like that shit. People call folks out every day. Don't mean you answer. Thud. She said she beat me easily, and maybe she would. Laila turned, slow, controlled, eyes cold. Say that again and I'll come over there and kick your ass too, Marvin. He held up his hands. Don't get emotional. Emotion don't win fights. Laila breathed through her nose, steadying herself. Then she turned back to the bag. She thinks being younger makes her better. Marvin shrugged. It sometimes does. Laila paused, then smiled, a small, dangerous smile. Not against me. By Monday, ESPN reported the impossible. Both sides interested. Talks begin. It wasn't a contract, but it was oxygen, and oxygen feeds fire. Fight posters, fake ones, circulated online. Fans placed imaginary bets. Celebrities chimed in. Serena Williams tweeted, "Age don't decide greatness." Ronda Rousey tweeted, "Shields by stoppage. Love Laila, but her time has way passed." And somewhere between the chaos and the hype, a seed took root inside Laila, a quiet voice whispering, "Prove him wrong." 2 weeks later, inside a polished conference room in Vegas, Laila sat across from a suit-wearing executive from Premier Combat Promotions. "This isn't official," he said carefully. "Just numbers. Just T possibilities." Laila opened the folder. Her eyes barely flickered, but inside her pulse kicked. The proposed purse was massive, record-breaking, history-making. Laila was due to receive $20 million guaranteed, while Claressa would get 25. "Why is that bitch getting 5 more than me?" Laila asked, losing her calm demeanor. "This would be the biggest women's boxing event ever," the exec said. "Global, pay-per-view, arena sold out before the posters even print. She's a current champion, while you haven't seen the ring in almost 2 decades, miss." Lee. Laila closed the folder. "I'm not doing it for the money anyway." "Oh, we know," he said, smiling, "but money does helps." She didn't smile back. He leaned in. "You win this fight. The world calls you GWOAT forever. No debate." Silence settled. Finally, Laila spoke. "What does Claressa say?" The exec didn't hesitate. She already agreed in principle. Laila's heartbeat thudded once, hard. She stood up. "I'll sign the contract." The news broke like a bomb. Ollie and Shields agreed to fight. Fans treated it like gospel. One video went viral. Laila walking into her gym the next morning, hair tied back, gloves on, eyes locked forward. The caption said, "The Queen Ice back." And just like that, training camp began. At first, it felt good. Laila hit the mitts sharp enough, jump rope smooth enough, shadow box fluid enough, but enough wasn't enough. Not against Shields, not against 17 years, not against time. By week 2, the truth started showing. Her lungs burned, her legs lagged, her reaction slipped half seconds behind the punches coming at her. Marvin said nothing at first, until the first sparring session. A young middleweight prospect, fast, hungry, nameless to the world, stepped in the ring with her, but enough to shock her. Enough to whisper, "You ain't the same." 3 rounds later, she sat in the corner, chest heaving, sweat dripping, pride cracking. Marvin looked at her with a face she hated. "Pity, you okay?" he asked. She snapped, "Don't ask me that." But she wasn't okay, because in her gut, a fear was forming, a fear deadlier than any punch. What if they're right? What if age really does win? What if she can't do this? What if she loses publicly, forever? That night, after everyone left the gym, Laila stayed alone, lights low, ring empty, silence deafening. She touched her reflection in the mirror. For the first time, she doubted, and doubt is a dangerous thing because doubt invites vultures. And someone was already circling, watching and waiting in the humid gym, smelling opportunity. His name was Victor Reigns. and he was about to change everything. Victor had a reputation in boxing circles, one of those names people didn't say loudly but never forgot. A slick talker, a wanderer, a trainer who floated from camp to camp, fighter to fighter, always disappearing right before things went bad. Some called him a genius, some called him a parasite, everyone called him dangerous. Because she had been out of the ring for so long, she had never heard of him, and on the night Laila stared into that empty gym mirror, questioning everything she'd ever believed about herself. Victor stood just outside the glass doors, hands in his pockets, smirking like he'd been invited. He hadn't, but vultures never wait for welcome. The next morning, Marvin walked into the gym early, coffee in hand, whistling low. He froze when he saw a stranger leaning against the ring ropes like he owned the place. Tall, lean, smooth haircut, expensive tracksuit, gold chain shining just enough to signal ego. He smiled like a man who'd practiced it in mirrors. "You must be Marvin," he said. Marvin didn't smile back. "And you must be lost motherfucker," replying harshly because he knew who he was talking to. Victor chuckled. "Not at all. I'm here for Laila." Marvin blinked, slow. "She didn't tell me she was expecting anybody. That's because she wasn't." Marvin's voice dropped an octave. "Then you can leave the same way you came in." Victor's smile never faltered. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he said calmly. "I'm here to offer help." Marvin stepped closer. "She doesn't need help. She's got a team." Victor tapped his temple. "She needs what you can't give her." Marvin raised an eyebrow. "And what's that?" Victor's eyes gleamed. "An edge." Before Marvin could respond, the gym doors opened. Laila walked in, hoodie, gloves hanging from her shoulder, gaze tired but determined. She froze when she saw Victor. He turned toward her like they were old friends. "Laila Ali," he said softly, "even in retirement, you walk in like a champion." Laila narrowed her eyes. "Do I know you?" "Not personally," Victor said, extending a hand, "but I know greatness when I see it." She didn't shake his hand. "Who are you and why are you in my gym?" Marvin folded his arms, proud, protective, ready. Victor lowered his hand and clasped them behind his back. "My name is Victor Reigns. I've trained 6 world champions, consulted for dozens more. I've studied Shields, her habits, her tendencies, her flaws, and I know what it takes to beat her." Laila exchanged a quick glance with Marvin. "You're wasting your time," Marvin said. "We're good here." Victor kept his focus on Laila. "I watched your spar yesterday." Laila stiffened. He went on. "You were slow on the exits, heavy on your front foot. You got caught by shots you would have slipped 10 years ago. Marvin snapped. "All right, you need to—" "Is he lying?" Victor asked calmly. The question hit harder than any punch. Silence. Thick, stinging, true. Laila didn't answer. She didn't have to. Victor stepped closer, not threatening, but precise, like a surgeon approaching a wound. "You're chasing legacy," he said. "Not a paycheck, not attention. Legacy. And that's noble." He paused. "But legacy doesn't care about noble. It cares about victory." Laila's jaw tightened. Victor folded his hands behind his back again. "You can beat Shields, even at 50, but not like this, not as you are, not with time working against you." Marvin scoffed. "We don't need no damn snake oil." Victor smiled faintly. "No snake oil, just knowledge, strategies, methods most trainers won't touch." Laila's eyes narrowed. "Methods like what?" Victor held her gaze, unwavering. "Like doing whatever it takes." The room chilled. Marvin stepped between them. "We're done here." Victor didn't argue, didn't raise his voice, didn't plead. He simply nodded, turned toward the door, and stopped with one hand on the frame. Then, without looking back, he said, "When this camp falls apart, when the doubt gets louder, when you start realizing Shields isn't afraid of your name, remember this conversation." He pushed the door open. "And remember, I can help you win." He walked out. Silence lingered like smoke. Marvin exhaled, annoyed. Guy's a clown. But Laila, she wasn't so sure, because beneath all the ego, all the arrogance, all the slick delivery, Victor had spoken one thing she couldn't ignore: truth. She had been slow. She had been off balance. She had been touched by shots she used to dance around, and that truth crawled under her skin and stayed there. The next week of training got brutal. Road work before sunrise, strength circuits before lunch, sparring at dusk, and every day Shields ghost hovered in the gym. 33, peak conditioning, fast as lightning, cold as steel. Reporters kept hammering the same storyline. She's too old. Time always wins. Why is she doing this? Her lungs burned. Her timing lagged, and the whispers grew louder. She can't win. She's delusional. Shields will destroy her. She tried to drown them out, but the mirror didn't lie. Sparring didn't lie. Pain didn't lie. On the 12th day, she took a right hook she never saw coming and hit the canvas. Not hard, not long, but long enough to hear doubt scream in her skull. When she stood up, the gym was dead silent. Marvin's eyes were filled with concern he couldn't hide fast enough. And Laila felt humiliation rise like heat. She walked straight out of the ring, straight out of the gym, straight to the parking lot, and sat in her car, hands shaking, not from injury, from fear. Fear of losing, fear of looking foolish, fear of legacy shattering, fear she'd made a mistake and this young girl knock her out, which had never been done before. That night she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the room dark and suffocating, and just when she thought she couldn't take one more second, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, 5 words. "Ready to talk yet, champ?" Her heartbeat stuttered. She didn't respond, but she didn't delete it either. Because deep down, deep beneath pride and honor and principle, something poisonous began to whisper, what if there's another way? What if there's a shortcut? What if winning matters more than how you win? She closed her eyes, but sleep didn't come. Only the image of Claressa Shields, young, explosive, smirking, a reminder of the thing Laila feared most, history forgetting her. The next afternoon, when Victor Raines walked back into the gym uninvited, Laila didn't tell him to leave. She just said quietly, talk. And that one word was the first step toward a decision that would haunt her forever. Victor didn't sit right away. He smiled, soft, knowing, sharp. "You're scared." Laila stepped forward, eyes blazing. Losing to her? The words slammed into her because they were something to think about. He continued, voice low, calm, surgical. "I think you fear being remembered as the fighter who came back too late, the one who got humbled, the one who tainted her perfect record." Layla's chest tightened. "I didn't let you stay in here to insult me." "No," he said. "You brought me here because you're running out of time." The gym felt colder, quieter, smaller. Victor clasped his hands behind his back. "You're 50. Your reflexes are slower. Your recovery is slower. Your brain, whether you admit it or not, is slower. Shields is in her prime. You're fighting physics, biology, reality." Laila swallowed hard. He leaned in just enough that she could hear every word. "You can train harder than her and still lose. You can be smarter than her and still lose. You can fight your best fight and still lose." Silence. Then he dropped the line like a hammer. "Because fair won't beat her." Laila looked away, jaws clenched, eyes glassy with anger she refused to let show. "And what?" she whispered. "Are you suggesting?" Victor smiled, not wide, not cartoonish, just a slight curl at the corner of his mouth, the smile of someone who'd been waiting for that question. Victor spoke casually, like they were discussing shoes, not sabotage. "There are topical agents, completely odorless, harmless in the long term, that cause drowsiness, slowed motor response, reduced aggression, rubbed on the inside padding of your gloves. Every time you land clean, she absorbs a microscopic amount. By round 4 or 5, her legs go heavy. By 7, lights out." Laila stared, stunned. "You're joking, dead serious. That's cheating," she said flatly. "It's strategy." "No," she growled. "Strategy is footwork, timing, discipline." Victor shrugged. "And how's that working out right now?" Her throat tightened. He stepped closer. "You want to be the GWOAT again, right? The real one? Not the nostalgia act. Not the daughter of the greatest, period." Her pulse hammered. "I'm talking about winning. That's cheating. My daddy ain't never cheated and instilled that in me. That's survival." Laila stepped back. "I don't need that. I've never needed that." Victor didn't argue. He just nodded, hands behind his back like a professor presenting facts. You're right. You never needed it. But you also never fought someone 17 years younger, faster, hungrier, uninjured, unretired. He paced slowly, voice steady. You're not the underdog. You're the icon, the queen, the one the world expects perfection from. And perfection is impossible unless you control the variables. Lala's pulse pounded in her neck. This isn't who I am, she said, more to herself than to him. Victor stopped. Legacy isn't about who you are. It's about what the world remembers. He let the silence linger. You think they'll give you credit if you lose? You think they'll say you were brave? No, they'll laugh. They'll call you washed. They'll say Shields is the real GWOAT, and they'll forget you. He pointed to the wall of belts and photos. All that becomes nostalgia, trivia, a footnote. Laila's breath shook. He softened his voice. You win this fight by any means, and your name becomes immortal, untouchable, eternal. She stared at the floor. He pressed one last dagger. Ask yourself one question, Laila. Do you want to be respected or remembered? Before she could answer, the gym door opened. Marvin walked in. Victor instantly stepped back, mask of politeness snapping into place. Well, he said lightly, I've said what I came to say. He reached into his jacket and placed a small, unmarked business card on the ring apron. When you're ready to stop losing sleep, call me. He nodded once, turned, and walked out. No pitch, no desperation, no begging, just certainty. The door shut behind him. Marvin frowned. What did he want? Laila stared at the card, at the empty doorway. Nothing, she said quietly. But that was a lie. Victor hadn't left her with nothing. He left her with temptation, and temptation was the heaviest weight in the gym. The next few days were war, not in the ring. In Laila's mind, every time she laced up her gloves, she felt the truth Victor had spoken. Shields was younger, faster, sharper. Every sparring session exposed another flaw, another delay, another reminder she was climbing a mountain with sand beneath her feet. Social media didn't help. One headline read, age gap too big, Ali will get hurt, point blank, period, bar. Another said, she better sit her old ass down before Claressa knock her dentures out her mouth. A clip went viral of Claressa hitting pads, rapid fire combinations, explosive power, eyes full of fire. The caption, this ain't 2007, times didn't change. Laila watched it 5 times, then turned off her phone. But the damage was done. 3 nights before the first official press conference, Laila sat alone in her living room, house silent, city asleep. A glass of water untouched on the table. She stared at the business card, blank, white, unassuming, just a number, just a choice. Her hand shook as she picked it up. She told herself she was only holding it, not using it, not considering it, not falling. But then her thumb moved, pressed the screen, dialed the number. The phone rang once, twice. Then Victor's voice answered, smooth as silk and sharp as a blade. I knew you called. Laila inhaled. I want to win, she whispered. Victor didn't hesitate. Then let's begin. And with that single sentence, the line between greatness and darkness disappeared. The decision was made. The fall had begun. Tomorrow the world would see Laila Ali smiling on stage beside Claressa Shields, confident, composed, legendary. But tonight she had chosen a secret, a weapon, a lie. Tonight she became someone she never thought she'd be, someone who believed winning was worth anything, even her soul. The gym was quiet in a way that didn't feel peaceful. It felt hollow, like a church after a funeral. Laila stood alone in the ring, still in her hand wraps, sweat drying on her skin, her chest rising and falling with the leftover adrenaline of sparring. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, and every now and then they flickered, like even they were unsure about her. She leaned against the ropes, staring at nothing and everything. Her body still ached from the shots she'd taken. But what stung more was the look in everyone's eyes afterward. Polite concern, hushed whispers, the kind of silence people give when they think you're done. She'd seen it before with other fighters, other legends, but she never imagined she'd feel it pointed at her. You think the world will remember second place? Victor continued softly. You think Shields will honor your legacy after she humiliates you? She'll say you're old, washed, overrated, that you were never on her level. Laila swallowed hard. She's not just trying to beat you, he said. She's trying to erase you. That hit like a body shot. Victor leaned in. You don't have to lose. Not if you're smart. Not if you're done playing. Fair in a game that never treated you fair to begin with. Laila's voice dropped to a whisper. I'm not a cheater. The shady man smirked. Everyone's honest until honesty cost him everything. Laila didn't say another word. She stepped out of the ring, grabbed her bag, and marched toward the exit. Victor called after her, voice cool, confident. When Shields raises those belts over your limp body, just remember, I offered you another ending. Laila kept walking. She pushed through the gym doors into the night air. Cool, quiet, honest. She sat in her car, hands shaking. She hated him, hated his arrogance, hated that he spoke in her deepest fear out loud. But the worst part? Some small, ugly part of her knew he wasn't entirely wrong. Later, alone in her home gym, she shadowboxed in front of the mirror. Her movement was crisp, sharp, beautiful. But after 3 rounds, she could feel her lungs burning, her legs heavy, her punches losing snap. 17, almost 18 years. That number hung like a curse. She stopped. Her reflection stared back, strong, proud, but human. The whispers in the media, the headlines, is Laila too old? Has time already decided the winner? Youth versus legacy, but is it even fair? She threw a punch, then another, then a scream, because she could fight Shields, she could fight the world, but she couldn't fight time, not forever. Her phone buzzed, a text, unknown number, offer still stands. Laila stared at the screen until her vision blurred, and in that heavy silence, the first crack formed, not in her body, in her belief. The next morning she called Victor. Her voice was steady. Cold. This agent you're talking about, she said. Would it hurt her? No, the human snake replied. Just gradually put her to sleep. And no way to trace it? None. I've helped 3 other boxers win fights using this method. Silence stretched. Finally, Laila whispered, tell me everything, but first, how much do you want for doing all of this? And right there, the path changed, not with a punch, but with a choice she knew she'd regret. Victor's greedy ass wanted 750 bands for guaranteeing her a win, which was pennies out of the 20 M she'd be receiving, a choice she made anyway for legacy, for pride, for the name Ali. A month and a half later, fight day finally arrived, and Las Vegas had never felt louder. The MGM Grand was shaking, 20,000 people on their feet, cameras flashing like lightning, chants roaring through the rafters, Ali, 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 then battling back, Shields, Shields, Shields. 2 storms colliding, 2 eras about to clash. Security lined the tunnels. Reporters swarmed. The air smelled like sweat, perfume, money, and history. This wasn't just a fight. This was a throne on the line. Legacy, GWOAT versus GWOAT. The fight boxing never thought it would see. Back in the dressing room, Laila sat on a folding chair, staring at her hands as the official wrapped her gloves. Victor hovered beside her, voice low, calm, snake-like. The agent had already been rubbed onto the inside padding, clear, odorless, impossible to detect. Every clean punch would deliver microscopic contact, drowsiness, slowed reactions, heavy legs. In his words, by round 6, she's yours. Laila tried to swallow, but her throat felt tight. She could feel her heartbeat in her fingertips. This was it. No turning back. Her longtime trainer paced behind her, completely unaware of the plan, but was still suspicious of the con artist she had been dealing with. If he knew, he'd have shut it down in a second. Victor leaned in. You touch her early. You touch her often. Make her feel you. Trust the process. Laila didn't respond. She just stared at her gloves and felt sick. Not scared, but slightly guilty. But she pushed it down, buried it under pride, under the weight of her last name, under the fear of losing to a younger queen who wanted to take her crown. A knock hit the door. You ready, Laila? The lights went out in the arena. A single spotlight hit the tunnel. I'm a survivor by Destiny's Child blasted through the speakers. The whole crowd erupting into goosebumps. Laila stepped out, robe sparkling silver, chin high, side, eyes forward, she looked like destiny, like royalty, like a woman who refused to age. Fans screamed, phone shot into the air, and for the first time that day, her fear evaporated. She was a fighter again. She was an ally. She walked the aisle like she owned the earth beneath it, stepped into the ring, raised a single fist, and the building shook. Then the music cut, silence, a heartbeat, and then boom, the beat dropped. Claressa Shields made her way to the ring accompanied by her man, Brooklyn rapper Papoose, who performed a brand new song that he was debuting that night called GWOAT. Greatest woman of all time. The beat had a smooth but hard 808 bump, and his velvet voice rhymed bars about his future wife never losing a fight and about all of the belts she possessed. Purple lights flashed, pyro, thunder sound effects. Claressa Shields strutted out wearing a crown-shaped headpiece and a robe stitched with one word, GWOAT. She shadowboxed in the aisle, loose, grinning, sunglasses still on. She yelled into the camera, "Age ain't greatness, skill is greatness." The crowd went nuts. She hit the ring, ripped off the robe, flexed, and pointed straight at Laila. No mercy tonight. Laila didn't blink, just mouthed, "Bring it." Michael Buffer's voice boomed across the arena for the first time in history. The Queen versus the GWOAT. The bell rang. Ding! Round one, the crowd roared. Two great stepped forward, gloves up, eyes locked, and every question the world ever argued, who's the best, old school or new school, legacy or evolution, was about to be answered. Shields came out fast, sharp jabs, quick feet, youth on full display, pop, pop, pop. Three stiff jabs tapped Laila's guard before she could even set her stance. Laila moved slower, more measured, trying to find rhythm. She pumped a jab back, but Shields slipped and countered with a right hand to the body. Crack. The crowd gasped. Shields smirked. Too slow, og. Laila tried not to react, but the punch stung more emotionally than physically. She needed a clean shot, just one, to start the process. "I got her old bitch." She stepped in and fired a straight right. Bam! It landed. The first glove-to-skin contact of the night. Victor, watching ringside, grinned like a devil. "That's it. Let it work." But Shields didn't flinch. Instead, she fired a left hook that snapped Laila's head sideways.
As y'all can see, I'm finna make grandma ass go night-night, knock that bitch right out, but I wanna know why y'all ain't hit them like and subscribe buttons for this video. Please go ahead and do that right now.
Ding! At the beginning of round two, Claressa danced around, loose, confident, talking shit in between punches. "You sure you want to be here?" Laila fired combinations, 1 to 2, left hook, landing more this round. She tagged Shields clean on the cheek twice, 3 times. Each shot was contact. Each shot was supposed to bring her one step closer to drowsiness. Victor was ecstatic. Sam was energized. But Laila? She felt a cold twist in her stomach because Claressa wasn't slowing down at all. If anything, the bitch was getting sharp. Left uppercut, right cross, body shot, another one, 2 more body shots. Laila winced. Her legs trembled. She backed up, guard high. Shields stalked her. "You can't cheat time." Laila froze. Just half a second. But half a second against the best fighter in the world was a lifetime. Boom! A crushing overhand right smashed into her temple. The arena exploded. Laila stumbled back, nearly dropped to a knee, but caught herself on the ropes. Ding, 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 saved by the bell. But when she sat in the corner, her vision flickered. Her trainer grabbed her face gently. "Listen to me. You gotta move. Use the jab. Box smart. Don't brawl with her." Meanwhile, Victor leaned in and whispered, "Keep touching her. It's coming." But Laila wasn't so sure. Her lungs were burning. Her legs felt heavy. 50 years old was too old to be trying to fight 10 rounds. And Shields wasn't fading at all. If anything, it looked like she was getting more stronger every round. At the start of round 4, Claressa came out with bad intentions. She pressed forward, unleashing combinations like a machine, fast, vicious, explosive. Layla's defense held for the first 30 seconds, then crumbled. A brutal right hook sent her stumbling sideways. The crowd screamed. Layla fired back out of pride, landing a big right hand. Boom. More glove contact, more chances for the agent to kick in. But Shields just grinned. You hitting me like it's 1997. Then she hammered Laila with a left hand that shook the entire arena. The bell dinged again. Layla's legs wobbled on the way back to her corner, and that's when the truth hit her like a punch. Shields wasn't slowing down, not even a little. The chemical agent wasn't working at all, and Laila was the only one getting tired, the only one fading, the only one aging. Her heart pounded with panic, not from Shields' power, but from her own decision, her own shame, her own fear. She whispered under her breath, "Oh God, what did I do?" When Victor slithered his way back up to her, she roughly grabbed him by his shirt collar, demanding why the drug wasn't working, and he clawed at her strong grip, promising her to be patient. It was survival now. Fuck depending on that chemical to kick in. She had to channel her inner strength just to prevent the Claressa from dropping her. Shields smelled weakness and she attacked. Left hand, right hand, uppercut, hook. Each punch was a sentence. Laila tried to clinch, but Shields shoved her back and barked, "This, I my era." The crowd went feral. Layla's vision blurred. Her legs felt like concrete, her arms like anchors. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't think. And for the first time in her career, she knew she was losing. Not to cheating, not to strategy, not to strategy gone wrong, but to the truth, youth, and better skills. The bell rang. Ding! And Laila barely made it back to her corner. Her trainer yelled in her face, spitting in the process as his voice was frantic. "Laila, we might have to stop this." "No," she rasped. "Let me go out like my dad did with Larry Holmes's bitch ass." The bell for round 6 dinged and Claressa came out a little slower than usual. Laila easily weaved a left cross that easily rocked her around to go. Laila took advantage by countering with a swift combination of jabs, stunning the younger woman. Claressa's knees buckled a little as she made weird facial expressions as if she was confused about something. "Oh shit! I think this stuff is finally kicking," and Laila thought to herself as she followed up her assault with a nasty uppercut that knocked a stream of mucus-laced blood from Claressa's nostrils. The crowd stood on their feet, stunned at the turn of events. Shields moved around a little sluggishly as if still dizzy from Laila's punches when the bell dinged again. In Claressa's corner, her boyfriend Papoose rushed onto the steps, reaching his wifey to make sure she was okay. Ever the ride or die chick, Claressa shrugged off the sudden drowsiness that started to overtake her and said she was okay. Over in Laila's corner, Victor excitedly reminded Laila that he told her that the agent would start kicking in by the 7th round, and he was a man of his word because the 7th round bell dinged, and Laila mentally prepared to take the young girl down just in case the chemicals wore off. Laila came out like lightning. Sharp jabs, quick pivots, angles that Claressa didn't know the OG had. Claressa tried to block most of it, but the chemicals slowed her down and the speed difference was obvious from the first 30 seconds. Every time Claressa stepped forward to cut off the ring, Laila slipped out like smoke between fingers. Claressa dizzily threw a hard right, confident it would land, but Ali easily slipped out of the way, countering with a hook that nearly took Claressa's breath away. With 20 seconds left in the round, Claressa's arms felt heavy. Laila's punches weren't just faster than before, but they were also smarter. A jab to blind her, a hook to shake her, a body shot to steal a little more stamina each time. Claressa kept sluggishly swinging, desperate to remind the old woman in front of her that she ain't folding easy. At that moment, Laila caused the crowded arena to go into an uproar as she copied her dad's Ali foot shuffle in front of Claressa before attempting an overhand right that appeared to have connected with Claressa's chin because she crumpled to the mat as Laila's glove brushed by her face. The punch actually missed, though, by a ½ millimeter. The chemical agents flowing through her body is what finally knocked her out, giving her her first professional defeat. Without warning Claressa's future hubby, Papoose swiftly made his way into the ring to check on his queen before turning to a smiling Laila. "Bitch, you ain't have to knock her out like that. I respect your pop so much that I told Bay not to knock you out due to my love for him." Laila stood stunned as several security guards began quickly making their way into the ring. She wanted to reveal to Claressa's man that she actually didn't knock her out and barely made contact with that final punch, and that it was actually a chemical agent, but she kept that to herself and opted to profusely apologize to him so as to comfort him. Laila's victory was short-lived. Papoose turned into a hood detective, not believing that the fight was a clean fight with the way his boo was dominating most of the rounds. He and Claressa's team hired an attorney and private investigator who took only 7 months to gather a dossier of info revealing that Laila, Ali, and Victor Reigns conspired to cheat to win the fight and did so by drugging up Claressa through contact with an odorless chemical on Laila's boxing gloves. Laila had to take the walk of shame when she was arrested, and TMZ Sports was right outside of her mansion to capture the moment in 1080p. The boxing commission that oversaw the fight reversed Laila's win and gave it to Claressa, which made her undefeated again. Laila received probation for her participation and was banned from boxing forever. I hope this story is a lesson that cheating and scamming is always the wrong thing to do in any situation. Just accept your defeat and go on with your life. Cheaters never win, bruh.